Sometimes we come to a point in life when we understand that nothing we are doing is satisfying our soul. The usual answers, the usual distractions just won't appease this deep hunger. We are moved to reach for a greater consciousness than we yet have known. We find that we must renounce the old ways and to make space for something new. Now, the classic renunciation story is that of the young prince Siddhartha, who gave up his privilege and place to become the Buddha. Siddhartha was born the heir to a small kingdom in Nepal. Just before his birth, soothsayers predicted that he would become either a powerful ruler or a holy man. His father, the king, was fearful of his son's becoming a wandering ascetic, going around with a begging bowl, and so he decided to surround him with luxury and to keep him entirely away from the harsh realities of living. But when Siddhartha was 28, his servant helped him to venture outside the palace for the first time, and he saw 4 things that changed his life forever. He saw a man suffering from serious illness. He saw a very old man struggling with the afflictions of age. He saw a corpse being taken for cremation, surrounded by mourners. And these people awakened compassion in his heart. And he asked himself, why were these people suffering? And he asked himself what he could do to help. And as he was returning to the palace, struck with these questions, he saw a 4th thing. He saw a man walking peacefully along the road, wearing just the thin robe of a monk and carrying a begging bowl. That image would determine the rest of his life for him. He did not hesitate. He relinquished the life of pleasure and comfort in his father's palace, and he became a seeker. It's important to know that he did not immediately become enlightened. He meditated, and he practiced yoga, and he studied. He had to learn to let go of opinions and ideas and beliefs, self-centered concerns. Most of us will not become Buddhas or renounce all worldly things, but all of us have had moments of wonder. It could be something as simple as the way the sunlight comes through the window one morning, or it could be looking at the face of a child asleep. We know intuitively that there is a deeper reality, for that reality has surprised us more than once with its peace and beauty. And perhaps time and circumstances say to us at some point, the time is right. Time is right to turn, to move in another direction. Such was the case for Elizabeth Gilbert, the author of Eat, Pray, Love. Her marriage was falling apart in a terribly painful way, and she found herself at the end of her rope, or that is to say ropes, both domestic and career ropes, as it were. She felt empty. She felt helpless. So where would a sophisticated, talented, brilliant woman turn? To God? How embarrassing. You know, people from New York don't do that. Yeah, well-known writers do not do that. It's embarrassing. And yet, that's what she was reduced to doing. She turned to God. And so she said her very first awkward prayer. And this is how she tells about it. She writes, "In the middle of that dark November crisis, I was not interested in formulating my views on theology. I was interested only in saving my life. What I said to God through my gasping sobs was something like this: 'Hello, God, how are you? I'm Liz. It's nice to meet you.'" That's right, I was speaking to the creator of the universe as though we had just been introduced at a cocktail party. In fact, it was all I could do to stop myself from saying, "I've always been a big fan of your work." "I'm sorry to bother you so late at night," she continued, "but I'm in serious trouble. And I'm sorry I haven't ever spoken directly to you before. I'm not an expert at praying, as you know, but can you please help me? I am in desperate need of help. I don't know what to do. I need an answer. Please tell me what to do. Please tell me what to do. Please tell me what to do." And so the prayer narrowed itself down to that simple entreaty. Please tell me what to do, repeated again and again. She begged like someone who was pleading for her life. And the crying, the sobbing seemed to go on forever. Until, quite abruptly, she writes, it stopped. So her crying stops, and she finds herself, as she said, surrounded by a little pocket of silence. Then she hears a voice. It was not a voice like Charlton Heston, she says, nor was it a voice telling her to build a baseball field in her backyard. It was merely her own voice, but it was her own voice as she had never heard it before. The voice was full of love and certainty. The voice said, "Go back to bed, Liz." That's it. Go back to bed, Liz. So often, that's the way the sacred enters our lives. We're empty, we're ready for a miracle. Anytime now, God, just hit me with it. And the answer comes, go back to bed. Take care of yourself. Take care of yourself. Do what the moment calls for. Be alive in the moment. Chop wood, carry water. First, Gilbert travels to Italy. That's the eat part of the title. And then in part 2, she goes to India and lives in an ashram where she struggles with meditation. I totally understand that struggle because I too struggle with learning to meditate. I keep trying because I know that meditation can help me become the person that I want to become, can help me live more in the moment. You know, I'm a thinker, a planner. Mostly, that is an attempt to create reality rather than experiencing reality. Now, there's nothing wrong with thinking and planning unless you do it all the time, thereby missing your actual life. Then there's the ever-present problem of desire that the Buddhists point out. They don't mean by this that you shouldn't like or desire ice cream or a cool drink of water. I think that what they mean is that when desire is in the mind, then that very moment is always incomplete or unsatisfactory. And when one desire is satisfied, then another arises, and so we live in perpetual dissatisfaction. The big picture, spiritually speaking, the big picture is that there is nothing we can hold on to, nothing to have, nowhere to go. As Ram Dass famously said, be here now.